Hey everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today I have a really exciting video. It's going to be a little bit different from stuff that I normally do, but a really cool opportunity came up in the coin shop, the Happy Coin, where I work. You may know that, you may not. Our website and eBay store is linked below. Definitely give them a look. But what happened was we had something really awesome come through the coin store. Silver right now, as you may know, is falling. Fell below $16 an ounce the other day, and I'm producing this video a little bit ahead, but it's definitely not really super high, not where it once was. But what we got in the store is something that is extremely valuable in terms of its price to ounces of silver, but it's not a coin. That's what makes it so interesting. And it's a 5-ounce poured bar, and it has a pretty good brand name, Engelhard, but you wouldn't believe how much this is actually worth. Astronomically more than 16, 17, 20, even $50 an ounce. This stuff is really rare, so I want to make this video as an educational video. Hopefully you guys can check your silver. Make sure if you're stacking silver, bullion, whatever, that you don't have anything super rare, because something like this, somebody has 5 ounces of it, and if they would trade it in, they could be walking away with a box or just tons more silver than the actual ASW is on the bar. We're going to be taking a close-up look at this super rare piece of bullion. Less than 100 were made, so it's really cool. And definitely a big part of collectors. People who collect this stuff are pretty pumped about it. I'll be sharing more about the story of what actually went on in the store and how we got it and what the deal is. But it's a hot item, and a big reminder to know what you have in your bullion collection. So I promised we'd go into a little bit of the story and then get a close-up look for all the people who are really curious about what is so cool about this Engelhard bar that makes it worth $1,000 or more. But basically what happened is we'd had this in the store for a while and we were going to sell it, and I decided to do a little bit of extra research on it because, as you can see, it's an Engelhard bar, obviously, and the serial number is pretty low. So 1,230, you figure, maybe it's one of, 5,000, 10,000, something like that, or even 100,000. But it's a really cool piece of bullion. As you can see in the right light, you get a little bit of iridescent toning. There is different marking along. You can see where it's poured. I'm not a big hand-poured bullion expert, so I can't really speak a ton, but it's definitely got the Engelhard brand name, which I did know about, and it feels like a solid chunk of silver. Now, as we looked into it more, we're going to sell it, for something like $200, and we decided to go into it further, and we found out that what it actually is, it's an ICR Tier 1 legacy ingot. So Engelhard only made 100 or less than 100 of these style bar. I think it's the third style of the bar that was produced. So clearly it's a very rare bar. It has a really original feel. I mean, if you look at it closely, it's just solid silver. Not all the 9s on the .999 plus designation are lined up correctly. It's still the brand name. It's kind of got like a pillow feel. You can see how the edges are not straight, but it's a really cool piece of bullion, very rare. With the brand name makes it quite a valuable one. Now, auction results are very few because, there's not a lot of people that are owning these because there's less than 100. But the last one that sold was in the 4-figure range, and they go for that. And it's a lot better. I have a silver ingot collection. It's on our eBay store. It's the Happy Coin, obviously. Pretty cool stuff, actually. They Whitman made a folder of ingots, and there's different designs you can collect. This is too big for the folder, but it's a step above any of this kind of interesting bullion that you find. And it's not super special. It's just 5 ounces of silver, but the brand name makes it very valuable. And one of the other things that makes it valuable, as I was kind of talking before, is the imperfection, the hand-poured quality, and the general roughness of the silver bullion itself. in terms of the actual story about what happened in store, we decided to put it up for auction after learning of its relative high value. We almost never go for auction, and it's a 10-day auction, and after only 1 day and 4 hours, after starting at 1 cent, there have been about 8 bids on it, 7 unique bidders. It's at $531, so it's definitely skyrocketing way past the original 200 mark that we kind of assume that it's at, with its actual silver value being just below $80 as of right now. And it serves as a great reminder that if you have bullion, you got to get it looked at. There's too much bullion for me to actually cover everything. I'm now going to cut to a segment where I go over a couple of other rare bars, both by Engelhard, and I'll try to find some other ones for you. I have a little while to make this video, but it's such a incredible piece of history and bullion history that's super cool. Glad that the store owner let me have a chance at taking a video with it to show any of the bullion collectors out there. One thing that I forgot to mention was the cooling lines. So that's what these lines are, in the hand pouring, the cooling lines. You'll often see modern bullion with a proof finish, very kind of professional look, but the cooling lines are something that adds to the value, as it just makes it all the more original. And as promised, we're going to get into some of the rare bars, so I highlighted 3 brands that I'm excited to show you. And the first one is the Engelhard. This is what our bar is, and for example, this is the 3rd series 5-ounce bar with less than 100 minted. They can go up to $1,000, though ours did not quite go for that. We're going to get to that in a second. And here's another Engelhard bar that's pretty rare. It's a 1-ounce bar, one of the earliest, in fact the earliest known, and these go for about $2,500 per ounce. And then here is a 1-gram silver bar. Very few of them were made. They were made for Australia, and this literally goes for about $370+. So that's an enormous markup on the silver price, but some cool examples, and then I'll get 3 more examples from 2 other brands. First being Johnson Matthey. They can be very desirable bars. Here's a 3.1 gram bar that goes for over $300. This one is a 5-ounce, really early bar, one of the earliest known. It doesn't have the plus yet, and it's just a really crudely cut silver bar or poured silver bar, whatever, but that's pretty valuable. And then right here is a 1-ounce Trojan bar. These were mostly made in gold, but they did find a couple in silver. There's less than 5 of them made, and they don't know exactly how many, if it's like 1 or 2 or 3, but they're very rare as well. There's no prices quoted for those on the website that I was looking at. And then lastly, we have the W.H. Foster or Foster bars, and these can be quite valuable as well. Here's a 1-ounce Deke Type 2 hallmark. There were different hallmarks, but the Type 2 is very rare. Then they have kind of a crazy denomination, 2.13 ounces, and they made a couple of those bars. They're quite rare. And then here is an 8-ounce Type 2 hallmark, and I saw one of these on eBay, or maybe it was on the website, but go for like over $3,000. So enormous markup on that silver. Nothing like the 1 gram that went for $350, $370. That is just astronomically expensive compared to the silver value, but I mean $3,000 is a enormous price to pay for something that's just 8 ounces of silver. So our rare silver bar actually sold for $666, which is not exactly what we thought it was going to be selling for, but it did go for over $130 an ounce, showing that there is demand for these rare bars out there. So that concludes this video. I'm glad that you got a chance to see such awesome history, as I said previously, and I hope that somebody, tells me that their previous bullion that they thought was basically worth spot with the silver is silver mentality is actually worth a significant premium. It's up to you if you're going to go sell it and get the silver, or have a unique piece of rare bullion, which is kind of hard to believe for most coin collectors out there, but definitely exists. And with that, I'm going to take off. I rarely get to do this type of video, but if you enjoyed, please let me know, and maybe I can do some other videos kind of showcasing different bullion styles with the stores coins. But